Well, here we go. We knew there would be tough ones when Jacob and I first met way back in the summer. Well, maybe there wouldn't be. Maybe Tennessee would just go undefeated and win everything,
Right.
but the likely tough ones. And this is certainly one of those. So, Jacob, I appreciate you taking the time. Um, First of all, after the South Carolina loss, I want to remind people to hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Please hit that like button. But Jacob, how are you feeling emotionally? Because that had to be a heck of a blow.
Yeah. Again, I think that we talked about this a little bit, but just loss is a part of life, right? It's a part of the game, and you can't play the game without preparing yourself to lose, right? And so obviously nobody wants it, and you ought to hate losing more than you love winning, and that's what they always say. So just trying to find some comfort in that, understanding kind of what we lost and kind of the significance of that loss in particular, just because it knocks us out of the contention for a lot of the things that we wanted for ourselves at the beginning of the season. But still being able to look at it and say like, man, like even with that loss, like we still are having an amazing season and still have the best offense in the country. Like still have those opportunities to go out there and reach all these goals that we had for ourselves. And um, so just trying to focus on that, I guess, rather than what exactly happened on Saturday.
Yeah, sometimes Jacob teams just play out of their mind. And I want to remind you the Vol Report is
Mm,
brought to you by Vassy Lawn and Garden. Go to Vassy.com. Man alive, it's worth the drive. Jacob, sometimes teams play out of their minds. And I thought South Carolina uh, did that to some extent. You're watching tape through the week. How much different was the tape, the team you saw on Saturday compared to what you saw through the week?
yeah, that's man, I think it'd be pretty obvious for anyone that if you're able to get hold of the tape, right? If you're able to go back and watch all the games that they approach this game with a different intensity, with a different level of preparedness, of awareness, and they played at a good speed. They made a lot of plays. Their quarterback played well, and wide receivers made a lot of plays on the perimeter, and they just seemed to always have it whenever they needed it, right? And the position that we're in now, the things that we've done, and the kind of mark that we've made, across the country, like we're gonna get everybody's best, right? And I may have said this before, but every team from now on that we face is going to treat this in the least um, conceited or the least uh, boastful way. Everyone is going to consider the Tennessee game as like the game to beat. You know what I mean? People are storming fields after beating us now, and that's not something that has been around this place in a very long time. So I think you can hang your hat on that, but you also have to be aware that you got to come every single week ready to get everybody's best. And they might look a little different. They might be a little more juiced up. They might be faster. Might be hitting harder, whatever. But um, just kind of as we grow, just adopting that role of like, yeah, everybody wants to beat us now, so we got to go defend it and take care of business.
As far as leading up to the game, there have been a lot of reports and stuff. You see it on Twitter, and I'm not going to ask you to specify, but just as far as the team chemistry and the unity, how did you feel that was? How did you feel like that was heading into the South Carolina game?
Yeah, nobody. My 2 cents on it. Nobody knows what's going on inside of our program. Um, other than the people inside of it. And people find out things, or people assume things, and a lot of times, they say don't believe what you see on the internet, right? So there's things that happen, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's an understanding that we all have each other's back, and that we're all on the same mission, and we go through adversities, on the field, but also off the field, and like truly we all go to work every single day for each other, and that's something that I've appreciated about this team. And that's no different. Like whatever everyone's saying is just not the case about Saturday they came out, they whooped our butts, we weren't prepared, we didn't play well enough to win that game Saturday as a team, as a unit, not as offense or defense or special teams, whatever, just as a whole.
It's almost like I think at times we try to find reasons where, and we forget it's just a contest. It's a
It's a
contest
game,
between
man.
two people. Yeah.
It's a game every weekend, and at the end of the day, is anybody can win that game because everybody's got scholarships, everybody's got practice, everybody's got film, everybody has nice facilities. So at the end of the day, it's just a matter of who wants it more and who goes out there and executes the best.
So, what do you think of this team's psyche with a loss, such a heartbreaking loss? And I do want to get to Hendon Hooker, and that was as heartbreaking as it gets. But what do you think of this team's psyche as a whole moving forward? Because Vanderbilt is suddenly a better team than we thought, and then you're going to have a bowl game that's going to be out there. So, closing out the year, what do you think of this team's psyche right now?
Yeah, I guess I'll start with that. Like, you don't really know until kind of you get back into the groove of practice. Today is more of a workouts and meetings and just kind of watching film and get an understanding of who we're going up next. But tomorrow we'll come out and see at practice tomorrow whether there's a lot of energy and whether people are focused and are locked into their assignments and are worried about the right things, right? And yeah, you mentioned Vanderbilt. Like, Vanderbilt obviously hasn't had necessarily the season I'm sure they want, but has put together two pretty good games against Kentucky and Florida, able to beat both of them that are two pretty good teams in the SEC. And every year I think that this game, for both of us, but for them specifically, means a lot. And they always have that target for us. And so now that's just heightened with the situation, right? They feel like we're probably coming in there limping and we're bleeding from this last loss. And they feel like they might be able to take advantage because they're rolling and they've won 2 in a row and all this stuff. So yeah, you'll just have to, again, you'll get their best shot. And so we have to go in there and prepare and just get ready to handle their best shot. And I think we're good enough to do that for sure.
What's the more significant loss? Hendon Hooker, the quarterback, or Hendon Hooker, the leader?
Man, I think that's why I couldn't tell you, man. Like, they're both so impactful to the team. And to me personally, we roomed together, obviously, like in the hotel. I might have said that before, but we roomed together in the hotels, and man, like, just to see that, like, the character and the person that he is, and to see how he comes to work every single day, the same exact way, man, the same energy. He's always ready to lead, always ready to encourage guys, and he is the guy whenever things aren't going well or practice or whatever. He is the one that steps up, that says, look, man, like, it's all love, but like, we got to go, like, we got to get our stuff together, whatever it may be. And for someone that man does everything the right way, and truly works hard and treats people the right way, it sucks that something like that happens to him specifically. And I think that you can kind of tell that that's how we all feel just by the way, if you're watching the broadcast, you're watching the game, like we're all like, no one wants to get off the field. We want to be there around him and with him, and the whole team was affected by that loss. Not even necessarily just because of his play. Like Joe Milton will step in. Joe Milton will do a great job. Joe Milton will make plays, and he will be there. And Joe Milton will lead too. Like, this has nothing to do with losing, that spot or whatever. It's truly just because we all know who he is and we know how he is. And man, it's really sad. But yeah, he's a smart guy, and he trusts the Lord just as much as I think anybody else. So I think that he'll remain in a good headspace, and he'll come back better than he was.
Yeah, a lot of those. I think a lot of people don't know, but a lot of those sideline tests, they can tell you 90 to 95% how serious it is. So did you guys have a feeling that it was pretty serious at that moment? It seemed like it.
Yeah, I think if you've been around the game for long enough, you can kind of watch what happened and see the type of play and the injury and the way that he fell, and you pretty much know immediately, what's going on, and you're kind of just waiting on the news from the medical staff to kind of confirm it. But yeah,
had to be a blow. Well, our prayers and thoughts are with him and his family, and he's going to be very, very successful at life, no matter what that is. If it's the NFL, if it's coaching, whatever he decides to do. So we send you prayers and thoughts, best wishes, if you don't mind passing them along. Let's talk about Joe Milton for a moment. Here's the guy who has all the physical tools, won the starting job heading into last year, and Injury sidelined him. How is he different over the course of the last 16 months or even longer, if you want to say 2 years,
Yeah.
since you've known him?
Yeah, I think just I think we all grow, right? And this isn't necessarily like to say anything about Joe because I wasn't necessarily the person. Like I'm a different person now than I was then too. But Joe is a much more selfless leader, a much more selfless teammate, and just person in general since I met him, right? And whenever he came in, it just to me seemed like he was there to ball, he was there to be the guy, he was there to do this, do that, and it's exactly what he did, right? He came in and he won the job, and he started, and then the injury, and then Hendon taking over, and just watching him become much more aware and much more, I guess, concerned with the team's success and with the team and with Hendon being extremely successful. Watching him handle that, like just as a man, like literally as a man, and someone else is doing the thing that you would like to be doing, and the fact that you're able to stand beside him and support him harder than anybody, more than anybody, just showed me a lot about him, and so I appreciate him for that reason. And also, just like you said, like the physical attributes, like the man is talented, truthfully enough, the most talented like quarterback player that I've ever been around. Right, the way he's able to throw the ball, the way he's able to move, like the throws he's able to make. I mean, you guys have seen it. Like the guy can throw the ball a mile. So, man, just really hope that he's able to step up and just be super confident and know that we trust him and that we are behind him. And yeah, he'll get the job done.
Somebody said during SEC media days, and this was floating around, and I have my doubts, but I'm going to throw it out there. Somebody said
All
he
right.
could throw the ball 100 yards with like a double hop. If he really tried 100, I mean, I've heard of 65 and 75. I've heard of those
Yeah.
numbers, but that's
Right.
100.
I promise you, I would not doubt it. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. But I mean, dude, I'm watching him. Like this is at warm ups at South Carolina this past weekend. He's standing on the opposite 45, right? And he's just kind of whatever, like a little hop, and then just throwing the ball into the end zone. Like there's a manager standing in the end zone, like just catching the balls, and like he just seems like he's just flicking it down, just flicking it down there, and he's getting it all the way like into like 5 yards in the end zone. And you're just like, man, like why are you doing this? How do you do this? Like this doesn't make any sense to me. But no, yeah, I think I wouldn't doubt it. After I'd have to see it, but I wouldn't bet against it.
I, how's his touch? Because a lot of the times you're going to be the receiving end on some short passes, and your
Yeah.
fingers look pretty good. You don't need them cracked up.
Yeah, I mean, we catch his ball every day. Like you don't really think about necessarily whatever how hard he's throwing it unless it's something like super. Like there's obviously close quarter throws where there's some of those plays that we slip out in the flat and the quarterback's probably about 10 yards from us, and if he were to zip it at us, like that would be a problem. Like you wouldn't be able to catch it, you wouldn't be able to judge it. But like he understands that, like he's a quarterback in the SEC, like he knows that like the throws he has to make and different, when I need to take a little bit off of it, when I need to kind of float it a little bit, and so I don't know. I think he's developed in that way, and obviously that's questions that people have whenever you get a guy with a lot of power. But yeah, no, I think he's fully prepared.
Yep. It's great talking with Jacob Warren. The Vol Report brought to you by Vassy Lawn and Garden. Man Alive. It's worth the drive. Vassy Lawn and Garden in Cleveland, Tennessee. Whether you're looking for industrial mowers or commercial mowers or residential mowers, they've got you taken care of. I'm about to go up there and buy a blower because all the leaves have fallen and we can't get up and down the driveway. So there you go. They've got the trimmers as well. Vassy Lawn and Garden. Man Alive. It's worth the drive. So, how is Vanderbilt turned their season around? You've seen a little bit of them. What are they doing that is maybe not cause for concern, but certainly cause for you to take note of?
Yeah, man, they play really hard. They play hard, and they seem to have rallied around just each other and like that coach and the buy-in. There's a lot of things that, like you said, sometimes there's just games that don't go your way, or maybe you get out talented, or whatever it may be. It happens on every level to everybody. And yeah, man, I think just the last two games, like they've truly just wanted it more, and they've gone out there and been able to put a plan together that they can be successful in. And you do that, and you play really hard, and get some things going your way, and good things happen for you. So
we were talking before the season, or I'm sorry, before this recording session. If we were talking before the season, and I told you that you're going into the Vanderbilt game, you're going to be 9-2, and one of those losses is to South Carolina, which means that one would be understandable, the Alabamas or the Georgias of the world that you guys are very close to, or close to surpassing, or in one case have. If I told you you're 10-1 or 9-2 going into the Vanderbilt game, that means a win over an Alabama or a Georgia. I mean, that means something special. So, are you able to look at that now, or is that something that takes some time after the South Carolina game to kind of settle
in. Sorry, can you repeat it?
Yeah, that was
Just
a terrible question. But that was a terrible. Just when you look back, do you sense the perspective of? I mean, you guys have had an incredible season, even if the goals that you had weren't reached out.
Yeah.
Pardon that
for
terrible
sure.
question.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I think as you look back, and that's kind of what at least is helping me, like, not deal with this loss, but I guess just kind of put into perspective. We talk about perspective all the time, and just understanding that, like, man, like, we would do anything for 10 wins. Well, we have 9 wins right now, but we do anything for a potential 10 wins last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Every year that I've been here, it's been, man, like, only if we can get to that. I would love to go to the Cotton Bowl or the Sugar Bowl or one of those New Year's Six bowls or whatever. And then you take one loss, whatever, to South Carolina, and it's like, now that kind of leaves that bad taste in your mouth, and you can't do all this, and go to college football playoff, whatever. But yeah, as you look back, you can't help but be proud and be happy of what we've been able to accomplish, and understand the significance of what's going on here. And that's truly like a change in the mindset and the expectation of this program. So just happy to be a part of it, and play my role as I can, I guess.
You guys have done a lot, man. You should be very proud of that. I do have one last question on Hendon, because you guys are road roommates. What was the first exchange when you knew that it was significant? What was the first exchange between you two like?
Yeah. So obviously he's not very I don't know, like, he's responsive, but he's not very whatever. You can't really talk to him much as this is going on, right? So it's more of just a, like, kind of like everybody else, like, just walking up to him, like whatever, bro, like, we love you, we behind you, like, everything, just trying to be supportive in that moment. And then you know I'm not one to, like, necessarily ask about anything, but whatever. But I mean, I saw him this morning at breakfast, and it was just like hey, like, good to see you. Just trying to just talk to him in a way that isn't, like, weird. That doesn't make it seem like I'm thinking about his knee or thinking about his injury. Just kind of just treating him like normal, because I know that's all he's probably been hearing about recently is, man, I hope you feel better. I hope you get better. I hope. How are you feeling today? Like, all this stuff, and, like, I'm sure he doesn't hear that, because at the same time I wouldn't want to hear it. So just trying to just be there for him and be a friend, and just be normal, just be myself, and treat him like he has always been treated around there.
Always insightful, Jacob. I appreciate it. The Vol Report brought to you by Bassey Lawn and Garden, and keep your chin up, man. You again, be very proud for what you guys have accomplished and will continue to accomplish. Things didn't shake out, but you're going to look back on this 10 years from now as one of the better years, I believe, at least football wise in your life. So be well, take care, and we certainly appreciate it, Jacob.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well.
He's Jacob Warren. The Vol Report is brought to you by Bassey Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it's worth the drive.